Some viewers may find this disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Viewer discretion is advised.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to a Monday night show. Monday night, it's the 27th of July, 2020, and me and Grem are back. We're back to another show.
Yeah, good evening, everybody. Good evening, mate. How's your day been?
It's been busy, thanks, Grem. Yeah, very much so. I had a slightly different job role today in my place of work, which I'm very grateful for and very, very happy to undertake. Mixes things up a little bit. But no, it's been a lovely day, apart from the weather. But of course, we can't have everything, can we, Grem? You know, the weather's been a bit miserable. But we're not at the end of the summer, so we've got to look at that as a positive. What about you, Grem?
Oh, I've been on the ice cream van today, everyone. Down Dover Seafront. It's been a quiet day, not many custom. But I have met some really nice people, so I love meeting people. And Ben came down to visit me today to talk about tonight's show.
I certainly did. And I even had an ice cream, Grem, didn't I? Thank you very much.
Yes. Very nice ice cream.
Nothing better than paying for a beautiful ice cream such as the one you delivered to my hand, personally. Absolutely.
Yes, I'm very good with whippy ice cream, mate. I can whip up really nice whip.
It's nice ice cream, isn't it, though, Graham? Eh? It's that totally different type of ice cream you can't usually buy, can you?
Yes, it's Yes, the ice cream that we normally get around the streets is cheap. But my whip is just top notch, people, top notch. It's really creamy, and it's got all you need to succeed. Nice dreamy ice cream.
Well, so there you have it. So
liked it anyway.
Yeah, I did. Thank you very much, Graham. So it's apparent then that we've had busy days nonetheless. And how about the viewers, more in particular? I mean, have you all had a busy day? I hope many of you that are watching are enjoying the stream so far. We do have a number of things to cover. We will get round to talking about the viewers as they come through. But yeah, certainly, Graham, it has been an interesting day. And more interestingly enough, Monday, as it's the day it is, of course, is the Monday Night Guest Show. We do have a guest this evening, don't we, at 8 o'clock?
Yes, we do. A young up-and-coming star possibility of. So it's quite an exciting moment for him and especially for us, because we, I believe, are the first media online service, at least, to interview this young chap, and he's going places, definitely going places.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's great, isn't it? I think that's the most important point here, Graham, isn't it? Is that we are able to, bring in the talent that is out there to give them a platform. Anybody and anything, whatever it might be that you have, you want to sell, not necessarily physically, financially, but also just as a message. We are here for you. The Ben&Grem Show will be most happy to put that out there for you. We're really impressed that this guy is taking the time to want to come on the show. And I think everybody will enjoy what he has to say. Certainly, Graham.
Definitely. I'm sure tonight will not disappoint. Well, maybe we might disappoint, but the chap will not disappoint. This young guy will not disappoint. So I'm looking forward to having him on.
Absolutely, absolutely. So that does bring us quite swiftly on to our first topic, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm Quite interesting, this one, because it's something that I think is considered somewhat of exploitation, Grem. You could say. I think a lot of people in the general public could actually take that view. Grem, P&O. Well, let me just read it out to you guys. Okay. So,
yes, P&O at the moment. But not just P&O, it's also DFDS. Was it DSDF?
DFDS.
And even Eurotunnel are also they're all operators are in on this in some way, shape, or form. They are only offering day trips, but at the cost of a holiday trip. So basically, instead of paying your normal £37 or £49, depending on the day of the week and the term time, etc., they are wanting, in some cases, up to £300.
Well, I'm not sure. I'm not sure about whether that's across the spectrum, Graham. I mean, what I do know is, of course, it has been a suggested story around the ferries, profiteering, as it's been suggested. But I'm not entirely sure about any other areas. I mean, I can't quote on that. But what I can say is certainly I do know that. Let's just say I've understood it to believe that, you know, people are preferring somewhat to travel via the tunnel, it seems, only simply because of the nature of the COVID-19. And it's more secluded for them within their vehicles, and it's considered to be quite a safe way to travel under these conditions. But with that said,
but then you also have, but you have the issue with the air conditioning. Is that what you're going on to?
Well, do you? I mean, I don't know.
So,
I don't know.
You know, you've got air conditioning.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure. I mean, I don't know about that, but all I know is that, you know, to say the story is about P&O, or it's actually not even necessarily. Let me just dive into this a little bit deeper, because it's a tricky one, because it's actually been on the local paper, but it has been said and it has been heard of that profiteering has taken place. It does say, actually, Graham, it does say, P&O Ferries, DFDS and Eurotunnel accused of profiteering. For not selling cheap day trip tickets to France. Well, actually, to be honest, Graham, why should they? Really? Actually,
well, they've got. But the thing is, I agree. Believe it or not, I do agree with what they're doing.
Yeah, of course.
But why don't they be honest about it? Why don't they be honest about it? All the operators be honest and say, we're having to do this because of the fact that we are crippling at the moment financially. They've had to let loads of staff go on P&O alone, let alone and any other ferry operator.
Well, yeah, I mean, from what I understand to know over the recent weeks, it has been known, hasn't it, that has been heard of, should we say, that ferry operators have had to lay off certain staff, which is sad news, because obviously it's a local industry and local workers. But again, I don't know. Around the cost of travel, I did hear about the story, but I don't know just what the extent of the truth of the matter is. And I mean, it's a difficult one to get into, as much as, well, the Kent Online have referenced this, but I don't know where this has come from. I really also don't know just how firm the information is, only simply because I've not heard anybody talking about it in particular in an area of work I commit myself to. So all I'm saying, of course, is I'm not saying it's not happening, but I don't think it's simply happening to the extent that this report has suggested. Quite honestly, I really don't. But
there's different figures all over the board. I mean, I believe at the most it's £300 for P&O, but there's also a slightly lesser figure. The other ferry operator is a lot lesser. And I don't know. I think I saw something quoted about £120 or something for Eurotunnel, but I may be wrong. I don't know if there's anyone reviewing at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just a wishy-washy story, Graham. I mean, I'm not. I'll be honest. I'm going to say on this one. I'm going to say it's a news story, certainly. But I think Kent Online, I think there needs to be a bit more substance, because quite honestly, I'm sorry, Kent Online, but you know, it depends what you're travelling as. You know, I mean, there's a number of different ways to travel, and you might have a trailer, you might have a caravan, you might have a van, high vehicle, low vehicle. There's various different numbers of ways of which you can travel, and so it's quite ambiguous to say being charged £300. Well, actually, what's the conditions there? How are they travelling? You know, it's just too. It's just. I think I'll be honest with you guys. I mean, quote me if I'm wrong.
Well, someone, I believe. Yeah.
No,
sorry, Ben.
No.
I believe this news story came about though, Ben, because someone tried to book a normal day trip to Calais.
Yeah.
And they were quoted £300.
Right. Okay.
And it was just their car and their family. No trailer, no caravan, no luggage.
Right.
They were going for a day trip and coming back that day, and they were quoted 300, and he decided, no, we're not going.
Sounds a bit bizarre, though, doesn't it?
I believe how it's.
Do we know who this person was, though, Grem? I mean, I mean, somebody. I understand what you're saying, Grem, and I get it. A story's a story, but you know, I mean, I could, you know, hypothetically now, I don't want to be a bit cheesy about this, but I could ring up the local press and tell them that I've just eaten a cat, but my neighbour reckons I haven't. The fact is, it could be a story because it's a bit bizarre, but the truth be it is, where's the evidence? You know, and I can't see. Now, I'm not just talking about P&O here or any ferry operator or even Eurotunnel or anyone. I cannot understand to believe that they would charge anybody £300 to travel. Now, I mean, unless, of course, it was return trip, of course. I mean, that's feasible. But even with that, it's, of course, of a matter of whether, you know, did they have availability? You know, you know, if I don't know, it's a difficult one. It's a very grey area one. It's very. I think the story in itself is a bit loose. It needs to be a bit more.
The link is there for people to research it. But
yeah.
The individual that I believe reported in the initial issue was a gentleman called Mr. Oakes.
Right.
And he said, my partner's daughter, who is 7 years of age and has a brain tumour.
Yeah.
And we were going to have to put her through 18 months chemotherapy next month. But they wanted to jump online and have a look and book a day trip, basically, to Calais, just for a day trip for the family, etc. His quote from P&O Ferry, sorry, I did get this wrong, everybody, was £180. And I know personally myself, the next part is true. £37 is what he normally pays when he does a day trip, because that's what I normally pay when I do a day trip. And myself and Ben have gone before over to Calais and then on to Belgium. And we've gone with a couple of good friends, and we've had a great time out. It's nice to get away. Now, for the same day, prices have also rocketed, it states here, to over £300 in some cases. It says it's because of the popularity of the limited sailings.
Well, yeah.
Where the company is focusing on holiday makers and freight while running at a reduced free ship service, because they've had to let those staff members go. But what they need to, that's partly true, yes. But what they need to, they're not being totally honest with the fact why they are upping the figure so much. Is because they need to recuperate some of the costings. The money that they have actually lost due to the pandemic.
But then have they lost? I mean,
of the service.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean,
3 months.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, obviously, even though there was a lockdown, there was still movement. You know, there was still movement, but limited, essential travel only. So obviously, freight particularly was being utilised, I think. I think more of it was going more Eurotunnel's way, admittedly, because of the aspect of safety over the subjects of COVID-19. But I do agree. I see companies will do this, won't they? But they're, I mean, rightly or wrongly, and yes, morally, it's not nice. You know, if you've been paying, say, as you say, Grem, £30 odd pound to travel, the last thing you want to do is then all of a sudden pay 180 to 300 pounds. I get it. I completely get that. But of course, when it's reduced service and really, is it essential travel? Probably not. I don't know. The companies will try and make their money back. And as much as it's wrong, they can do that. I think it's fair to say. Although I wouldn't
they can do it. And,
yeah, but I agree with you. And I think
it's awful lot of money.
Yeah.
A lot of money to jump from £37 to 180 for that gentleman, and that they were just going for about 6-8 hours or so.
Yeah, of course.
They weren't going for like a whole week or a long weekend. So it is a bit naughty. In some respects.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I suppose, the economy, they want to balance the books. I suppose they don't want to lose too much revenue, and I think that some excess amounts of money that's being suggested is unacceptable in any case. But I do think that, with that, there needs to be, the view of, well, with that said, we need to get the economy back up and running, and we need to boost it in, I don't know. It's a tricky one. It's a bit of a grey area one, but it's a very good story, Grem, and it is a story nonetheless. But I do fear that it's a bit loose. I think the story could be a little bit loose, but I don't know.
Yeah, it's not very firm. It's not. No,
it's a bit loose, but
it needs a bit more
potency, presence.
Exactly.
I mean,
that's what it needs.
Well, the fact is, if you start any story, Grem, the thing is, I mean, a journalist from a journalist. I'm not criticising a journalist here, but I mean, if you're going to say something, if you're a journalist, out there, question me if you need to, please. But if you're a journalist, don't start any story with allegedly, because I mean, after all, that's just kind of like saying, I climbed up a tree, but did I? I mean, allegedly, I fell off a tree. Allegedly, I took a plane. Well, you either did or you didn't. So the point being in this is that you mentioned allegedly in the article. So allegedly, someone was charged £300 or 180. It doesn't hold. I mean, I know sometimes, Graham, stories are stories. I know you can make a story out of nothing. That's what journalists do sometimes. But it's a bit wishy-washy.
Yeah.
So no offence given to the journalist in question. But could have done a bit better with that one, buddy. Graham.
With regards to Eurotunnel, though, Ben.
Yep.
With regards to Eurotunnel.
I can't. I obviously.
They are only offering short stay Flexi Plus tickets. So you've got the P&O, you've got Eurotunnel, you've got all the operators that actually operate from our country out to the continent.
Yeah.
They're all in roughly doing the same thing. £214.
Right.
For a 5-day return, even though the individuals are going for a day.
Yeah, I mean, it's but the thing is with, see, it's a grey area again. It's a lot of money, I know, but the point is,
it is.
But then, but you've got to also take into consideration that it takes an hour and a half to get to Dover to Calais on a ferry, but it takes 35 minutes from Folkestone to Calais. And the difference in that is significant. Now, for somebody who wants to get from one side to the other quickly, I'm not trying to do a marketing thing here. I'm just looking at it from
especially if you're a businessman or, you're a businessman, it's on your bill.
Yeah, and the thing is, of course, is that...
Poor lady.
Yeah, I mean, money's money. I mean, nobody wants to pay any more than they need to, of course, in any situation of anything, product-wise. But I do think that, that I'm not advocating or advertising. It's not even really an opinion of mine, but I do think that when you've got a situation where one area takes an hour and 15, an hour and 30, and another takes 35 minutes, well, you're going to expect the one that takes 35 minutes to be the quickest bit, the more expensive. I don't know. Maybe that's a marketing thing. I don't know. Maybe that Top Bods, whoever's made decisions based on that, maybe that was their argument. I don't know. But yeah, it's a lot of money. But
very true.
But holiday makers,
mate. I mean, it's
do we need to pay the money? The point is here,
mate.
Do we need to pay the sort of money we need to pay for, though, Graham? When it comes to going abroad, when we go to Spain, I mean, do we need to pay the amount we pay out for a flight? I mean, question asked.
Well, it's actually more expensive to holiday in your home country, and that's something that really.
I mean, that's a scandal in itself,
because
isn't it,
it's
Graham?
cheaper to go to the likes of Spain, as you've just said, but we've got a few other points to move on to.
We have, but you're talking about local holidays, and absolutely, Grem, and you're absolutely right, because it's a very good point here. You talk about local holidays, take caravans. Now, caravans, for example, I remember as my children were a little bit younger, we used to go to caravan holidays, and it used to be really affordable. But now, you could be paying, you could actually go to Spain and back, then go just 2 minutes down the road. Madness. I know.
We used to go to a very regular to Haven Holiday Park in East Sussex, mate. And some people we found out were paying like 700, 800, 900, over £1,000.
I mean, I wouldn't pay that to go to Folkestone. I mean, Folkestone's nice, but you know what I mean?
Caravan, they're training what berth caravan, and there's actually where it was situated. If it's close to the amenities, up goes the rent.
Yes.
It's hilarious.
Absolutely, Grem. Absolutely. Well, it's an interesting subject. Obviously, obviously it's a bit of a grey area for me because of the line of work I'm in, but I will say that, and I would only speak on something I know about.
So we can move on.
But no, Grem, I don't have to say. We do need to move on, but I just feel that the press needs to be a little bit more clear, don't they? Grem, right.
8 minutes to
2.
Yeah.
Yes. And what do we have here? We have point number 2, Piers Morgan, Grem. Piers Morgan, a view on the current situation with Prince Harry and wife. What have you got to say about that, Grem? You've got a few things on this one.
Yes. I mean...
Actually...
he's got a point. He's got a point. Do you know, he's got a point. Who's controlling Harry? Is Harry controlling himself?
Yeah.
Or is Harry... I will rephrase that again and say the same again. Is he controlling himself, but without the knowledge of that he's actually being programmed to think he's controlling himself?
Right. Okay.
Piers Morgan has picked up, Piers Morgan picked up about the eye contact, and when Harry was talking, or the eye contact from Meghan.
Yeah.
The tilting of the head, if so, the body language, and then you would see Harry not flinch, but begin to look slightly out of character, slightly out of position. That what he's used to, public speaking. So feeling a little bit nervous. So it does make people wonder, and it's made Piers Morgan wonder.
Wow. Yes.
How about you?
Well, Grem, it's a bit early. We've got 6 minutes until we bring in our guest, be it the Monday night guest. But we have 2 people in the waiting room, Grem. Now, work this one out. All right. Firstly, ladies and gentlemen, we have Will Smith in the waiting room.
Ah.
And we also have a CJ Clary. Okay. I think that's how I pronounce it properly. If I'm correct in saying. So yeah. So what's going on? Yeah. Sorry.
I have no idea. I think what's happened is. I'm
happy to bring Will Smith. I'm happy. Go on.
No. These, I believe, are friends of our speaker tonight, our interviewee tonight. And I believe they've taken the wrong link down. He's possibly forwarded them the link to the chat show Zoom meeting, and not actually the link that I sent through for the Facebook page to follow us live.
Well, that's okay. That's okay. Right. Okay. Fine.
So the person we need to bring in is Tom.
Can we bring all 3 in? I'm interested in this.
No, we can't.
But Graham, I mean, this is a moment. We've got Will Smith here, ladies and gentlemen.
No. Tough luck.
We're not allowed to bring Will Smith in. Can we not just?
No.
Can we not just bring him in to see who he really is? I'm intrigued, guys.
No.
All right, in the chat, guys. I don't know if anybody's there. All right, but if you're watching the stream, all right. Can anybody?
You can't help yourself, can you, Mr. Glazer? Carry on.
Can anybody tell me who Will Smith is? Anyway, All right, I won't bring him in because Grem says I'm not allowed, which is fine because it's not part of the script, guys. Obviously, is that right, Grem? Yeah. So we've got a couple more minutes to go.
I don't know what to do with him, guys. Shall I strangle him after the show? Do something with Ben. What can I do with you?
But Graham, is it the real Will Smith? Will Smith. Anyway, moving on. That stumped me a little bit there. These things happen. So point 2, yes, Piers Morgan. Views on current situation with Prince Harry and wife. Okay, well, I didn't think it'd be long before Piers had something to say on the matter.
What an interlude. What an interlude. The interlude that you've just given there. You were going in to talk about the point to do with Piers Morgan, Harry and Meghan, and then you went into a long interlude and then back to that point.
Of a distraction with Will Smith. Yeah, I mean, you've got to be honest, guys. If you're watching the stream, just picture this, right, for a second before we bring our guest in. We've still got a few minutes yet. So let's put it like this.
Smith.
You're in a studio, right? You've got no idea who's in the waiting room. But then again, your producer comes over to your room and says, we've got Will Smith. And you go, what? And that's it. Forget the script for a minute, guys. We've got Will Smith in the waiting room. Now, that's not something that happens every day, is it? You know, and it probably isn't him, all right? But if it is, well, we got Will Smith. I want to talk to him about, what did he do, actually, Graham? It's completely off topic, but what did he do? He was in a few films, wasn't he? He had his own music, didn't he, for a while? And what's he doing nowadays, Will Smith? Anybody know what Will Smith's doing these days?
Yes, he started off the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Yeah.
You remember that show?
Well, let's just say...
Yeah. Very good. Yeah, funny. Very funny show.
We've actually got 5 people in the waiting room. Anyway, that's fine. Right, well, Tom, if you're listening...
Right, well...
We are going to bring you in a little bit earlier because we like that. And we cannot wait any longer to get you on. And so we have... Tom, everybody. Isn't that right, Graham?
Yes, we do.
Obviously, we need to remove Will Smith.
Will Smith.
He's actually here, guys.
Tom. Hello, Tom. How are you?
Hello.
Tom.
I believe we have Will Smith.
Yes.
Will you have Will Smith in the waiting room?
Not the actual Will Smith.
Oh, it's not him. Oh, that's okay. Well, okay. That's cool.
Ben was really excited, weren't you, Ben?
Can we remove him then? Is that all right, Tom? I had to bring him in.
No, that's fine. Yeah, bring him in, definitely. I've got a few other mates. But come on, listen.
Yeah, we can.
Right. If you got anybody that you want to
have they
come
got
on...
a link to the Facebook page that I sent through?
I've sent them the Zoom meeting link as well.
Well, the Facebook page, we're playing from there, aren't we, at the moment?
Okay.
We're linking from there into Facebook. Yeah.
Yeah,
so
that's fine.
We'll keep this for the main part of the show.
Yeah, that's cool. And just Graham, I mean, it's not a problem if like you say, Tom, if you want to bring any of your friends in, or certainly the people you work with on the discussion of the interview, that's absolutely fine. Just give us a nod and we can make that happen. But no, Tom, it's absolutely fantastic to meet you. I've heard a lot about you. Graham has talked to me about all the things you're doing at the moment and fantastic things that they are. Really impressive stuff. We have a couple of songs of yours, and we'd like to play them later if that's okay with you. But firstly, we want to just ask you a few questions. Graham, I'm going to start over with you, in fact, because you're the man of the moment and you have the questions already lined up. So if you want to start with Tom, and I'll pick up from where you leave off.
Okay, yeah, okay. How are you been recently, mate?
Sorry, mate, what was that? I didn't catch that first bit.
How have you been recently?
Been good, actually, yeah. Lockdown sort of, for some people might have put them off a bit of maybe getting into stuff and feeling a bit not really wanting to do anything work-wise, but really it's just sort of motivated me and really got me with my whole Nude Wave stuff going. Just been using the time to just be really productive, really.
Good stuff. And so you've been able to write music then in that situation. So you've had some time, I suppose, to reflect on the work you're doing, right?
Yeah, definitely. So basically it starts out, I'll start making a beat, or I've got something that's already done, that's sort of half done, and then I'm just able to really put some time into that now that I haven't really got so much going on as I did before, you know. It's also a balancing act. You can't spend too much time on it, then you sort of get sick of the noise of your own voice. But aside from that,
yeah. Well, that's it.
Well,
cool.
I've heard your singing voice, and you're pretty good, mate. You've had a change, haven't you? A big change from the Junior, haven't you? From what you used to normally play.
Yeah, definitely. So I was, for the last 3 years up until now, I haven't really done any original music, and I've been doing a function band. So I'm more sort of known down in Dover and the local area as a guitarist, but producing and house music's really always been a keen passion of mine. Up until about 3 years ago, I was other bands and other projects, but they never really got going. So yeah, like I said, like having the time to do it by myself again, it's been really nice actually. But yeah, it's really enjoyable as well. I feel like I've sort of listened to a bit too much guitar now, and I've sort of all the rock stuff that I used to be doing, I mean, it's sort of run its course for me, I imagine. And to be honest, I think what's good about what I'm doing now is it's reigniting a passion I had for original music. So yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I know Ben. I think Ben feels the same. I've got him to listen to both tracks that you have released, YouTube, and I'd like to go back to the first moment when I listened to the first time.
Yeah.
When your mum came up to see my mum and walked the dog, came back, and she spoke about you, mate. You know, spoke about you and your music and your change in direction, and asked would I listen, and I had a listen, and there's not much that actually hits you and you like it immediately, but I honestly really liked what you've done.
It's catchy, isn't it?
It's very catchy, and it's like it's brilliant. I feel that you know you've got a future ahead of you, definitely in the music industry. You know, which brings us on to a question really, with regards to how difficult would you think you would how difficult do you feel that it would be to succeed within the music industry, especially 2020?
That's a really good question. I think the way that you achieve something and become successful, for me and maybe other people in my own personal, you've got to set yourself something that's attainable. I mean, you've got to have a sense of direction. You've got to know what you want. Because if you're aiming to make loads of money out of it, just starting out, then that's entirely not the direction you want to go with your original music. It takes a lot of time and effort for them people to fit. I think it's really important that you sort of set yourself attainable goals, and not only that, don't look too far ahead, plan ahead, but also just like set those achievable things. I think for me, I'm using this as a platform to be creative, and I'm not trying my best not to look too far ahead at the minute, just try and concentrate on the music. And for me, that's really producing some nice results for me, because the minute I know I'm just starting out, like before a few months ago, I didn't really have any of my socials up, my music wasn't really out there, so literally it's just been 3 months. In the space of 3 months, I've got some attention and got some of the social media just starting to the ball rolling. But like I said, it's not necessarily what I'm trying to achieve. What I'm trying to achieve is the sound that I'm really enjoying. And if you're trying to achieve that in 2020, that's a hard thing enough, because everyone has a tendency that some things can sound similar, and you've got to really try and make something that's unique to you. And not only something that's unique, it can't be completely bonkers. You know, you've got to make it just the right balance of each individual thing. And I think that will make you successful in my opinion.
Yeah, I believe you've actually sort of answered the second question in a way.
He has.
I don't know if you think so.
He has, but
the
Grem,
second question.
Second question. Well, just hold that thought. Hold that thought for a moment, because Grem, Tom here. We just want to mention that we've got some people in viewing, and we've got Ollie Green. Do you know of an Ollie Green? Ollie Green says, "Big up New Wave," or Nude Wave.
Yeah.
Sorry. Connor Cleary. So this was a chap that was coming in on the stream, wasn't he? He wanted to come in, did he?
Yeah.
He says, "We love Nude Wave." That's cool. And Hugo Page is watching. For everybody to know. So, cheers, guys. Thanks so much for watching the stream.
Guys. Thank you for joining, and thank you for supporting your mate.
Absolutely.
You know, keep supporting him.
He's actually a really good producer himself. He's got a couple of tunes out at the minute. One of them's called One of Those Grooves, and it's under the DJ name Janoko.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
Really
well, ask him to email the show or send us a message through Facebook, and we would love to get in contact with him, I think, Ben.
Absolutely, we would indeed, Grem. Absolutely right. And also for the viewers as are watching, please, if you've got anything you want to ask Tom, please put it in the comments box, and we will follow that up. Absolutely, it's the Ben and Grem Show, and that's what it's about: asking questions.
Yeah,
interviewing our wonderful guests.
As soon as we get all the questions out of the way, we'll be very pleased to bring in any questions from outside the arena.
Right.
So anyway, question 2 was how do you define your expectations in reference to what to expect initially? I believe you've answered it. I mean, you've done that. You've answered. You can add a little bit.
That one actually, in a specific sense to what I want to do specifically. I'm aiming to sort of get some really good consistency with my music. I think sometimes it's a bad thing, in my opinion, as an artist, to go too far away from your original sound. If you've got your sound and people have come to you for that sound, I think you're doing them a disservice if you walk far too far away from that. They want consistency in their music. Also, for myself personally, I mean, the sort of biography line that I have on all my socials, my good friend Connor Cleary helped me write this actually. It's thick inked bass lines and melodic potency. I want to sort of make sure all of my music covers that, if that makes sense. So that for me is a real goal. I'm trying to set my goals within the music itself rather to everything else that comes with it, you know?
Yeah. Cool, that's a great answer. Ben, did you want to follow with the next question? It takes us back to the music industry again, but it's quite interesting.
Yeah, I mean, thanks very much, Graham. It's well, fantastic what you've already put out there, and you've covered quite a number of different areas just in those very few questions that you put out. So, do you work alone in your work? Do you, or Tom, or do you have? You say you've got the chap you mentioned.
Yeah.
And is it Cleary? Is it? Does he...
Yeah. So I work alone for all of my music in the production phase, but I can't truly say I work alone because these are the guys that are all musicians, great musicians, and successful ones in their own right, and I really need that extra set of ears on my music. I feel, like I said with the whole producing thing earlier on in our interview, about how you can't listen to it too much. If you listen to it too much, you sort of become aware of stuff that isn't actually as prominent when you're actually trying to do it, and that's the struggle with actually making everything yourself. You really do need another set of ears on it.
Yeah, like cabinets.
Great people with great ears to listen to my music.
Very, very true. No, mate, don't down your music, because as I said, the first time I heard that track, I was just amazed. And I believe your mum would have told you exactly what I said. I mean, it's nice to have like a second set of family, isn't it? With your, with your music friends.
No, definitely. I mean, it's all about that, really. It's all about connecting with other musicians. You can't stay in your own box. You've got to experience as much of it as you can. Also, as well, what's good about having musician friends that are all doing their own thing, you get to see their production process and you get to see what they're going through at the same time. And we all go through the same things, and I think it's important to stick together, you know?
Absolutely.
It is.
Absolutely. Tom, I mean, like I said, we've got a couple of songs, and I'm sure the viewers are itching to hear what the stuff you produced, and I think it's absolutely massively important that we do that, Graham, wouldn't you say? Oh,
well, we do have a few more questions to go yet, though.
Yeah, okay. If you, follow on with the next question, Graham.
Yes, okay. As mentioned previously, with the music industry, it's extremely difficult to enter, and the terrain at times is going to be pretty unpredictable. Would you say that passion, focus, and reinventing are vital to keep in touch with your fan base and creating new fans?
Good question there, Graham.
Yeah, definitely. The key word in that, great question, actually, it's really good. The key word in that, passion. Yeah, 100%. You've got to have that passion, and it's not necessarily what some people might think it is. You've got to have this sort of burning desire beneath you to do it, but almost in a way that you don't notice it. It's part of your life. It's all about keeping your fan base. It's all about the music to them. It's important. They are the people who listen to music. Without the people who listen to music, you wouldn't have enough to go. So, yeah, definitely.
Good
That's
stuff.
a great answer. Thank you. Now, going back to what Ben was saying before I interrupted my friendly host. I apologise for that, mate. We'd like to move on to the music. So,
Yeah,
Ben, do you want to take that away?
Absolutely. William Smith. He says that yes, play those bangers, just as it fits in line with the music itself. How on time was that? There you go. So yeah, we've got this song for you guys. This is from Tom himself. Really, really catchy tune. We're going to play this tune, and we hope you like it. We certainly do. And thank you very much. Hope you enjoy.
Can't you see the water running down my face? Think about the past and now it's not the same. I can see my future fading away, so I don't need to question if I want to stay. You don't have to try and change my mind. Things are different now that you're gone. I'm smiling all the time and doing fine. Please don't try to make me sympathize. Try and change my mind. Things are different now that you're gone. I'm smiling all the time and doing fine. Please don't try to make me sympathize. So much better. I'm just so glad I woke up and realized realized you were no good for me in my mind. Please don't try to make me sympathize.
Why not?
That was quality. That was quality. I really enjoyed that, guys. I hope you enjoyed it too, the viewers. It seems like they have. Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. That drop.
Well, would you like to explain the course of creating the music, that specific song?
Yeah, sure.
What you came across?
So it's really funny, actually. A lot of my music sort of seems to take this route that this sort of happens. It started out, I had this guitar part in my head. So all of the music and the instruments that you hear, I'll sort of play it myself. I don't really use samples or loops and stuff like that. So I had this guitar part that I had in. And what I like to do a lot with my music, so I do these palm muting parts in the pre-chorus, so you'll hear there's almost like a sort of like synthy sounding noise. It's actually my guitar. I really heavily palm mute it, but I sort of go for that in most choruses if I'm using the guitar in the song. And then the chorus, I'd originally recorded this chorus. It had some big chords on it, and it sounded okay, like it was good, it's passable, but I wanted something more out of it, and it's good to have that sort of really analytical sort of sense, like, okay, this is okay, am I happy with that? And you sort of run with it. And the song just, like, after that point, after about 2 hours later, the song sounded completely different to how it did at the start. And I'm really happy with the outcome, to be honest.
Yeah, well, it does seem like you've put a lot of effort into it, and you can see that there's a lot of transitions between sound in that, and catchy nonetheless. Certainly, it's something I can imagine being. If I didn't know you, Tom, if I hadn't met you, I would have thought it would have been in a club already. You know, honestly, truthfully, it is quite catchy and it's moving. And so keep up the good work. And we can actually also see you on YouTube. You're on YouTube as well, aren't you? And we've subscribed to that, guys, haven't we, Grem?
Yes. That's brilliant, guys.
Yeah.
So that reminds me, actually, I was literally in the middle of uploading the video, which you actually cool.
Yeah, nice. So where have you done any live?
You play both songs?
Sorry, Grem.
Ben? Was both songs played?
No, the second one.
Did you play both songs in?
Should we put the next song, Grem?
Okay.
It makes sense, doesn't it? Let's do that. Okay, so we've got the next song for you guys. Again, Tom's work.
Inside.
can.
Yeah.
So record labels, as much as they're brilliant for getting music out there, and so don't get me wrong, certain labels and certain deals can do certain favours, and they're great.
Yeah.
Sometimes it doesn't necessarily work, but every time, if it works or it doesn't work, you've got to give away a certain percentage of your creative rights. So whatever money's made through that song,
Exactly.
record label, you've got to weigh up the risks. And at the minute, I'm trying, like I said, keep my feet on the ground. But even if they did come up to me, I doubt I would accept. Just at the minute, trying to keep it all in my basket, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I can say from an experience in the past, knowing a group of individuals some years ago now, but who had a band, and they had a rock band, and they were, touring. They were quite locally well known. I think there was 4 of them, actually, if I'm correct in saying. And they're really talented for what they did. And they got approached. And actually, when approached, they were actually advised by the record label to almost completely change their way, in a sense of not only the way they dressed, but also the way they sounded. In fact, it was almost like they were trying to transform them into something completely different, completely against what they looked like they would want to achieve. They all discussed it and said, look, as much as it's great that we've got this record label around us, or could have, we don't want to change our sound. We love it. People love us for who we are. And for that reason, they turned it down. So I can understand where you're coming from, because, again, you know where you want to go, and you want to be in control of that, right? So a record label can, I suppose, send you in a direction which maybe not as adequate enough for you. Do you know what I mean? Is that right? Would you agree?
Yeah,
Pros, definitely pros and cons. There's some pros there and there's some cons there, isn't there?
Absolutely. Absolutely, Graham.
So carry on, Tom. Sorry to interrupt you.
So like having creative control over music, and actually as much of the process, so back to the previous question as well, I was saying to have as much of your own art owned as possible is a good thing. And not only that, I think the art itself, quite early on with my music, I think definitely for the current singles that are both out there, there's another one that's just been released recently called Glow. That's an exception. I've done the artwork myself, and what I had from a lot of the feedback from that was that it really links up well to the music, and they say that it seems like it's come from the same artwork. A lot of people, so a sort of cliche is when you sort of see like a band, say, you have a music video done. It was one of my old lecturers at university, Glenn, said this. He was brilliant, and he said we all basically had to do our music videos for our uni project, and he said if he sees one band do another video of them playing in the woods, he's going to lose his mind. And I just think that's so important. That you've got to, and it's blunt truth, absolutely awesome. But you've got to definitely try and keep everything within one creative space. Like I said, and again to another previous question, you don't want to branch out too much. I mean, it's brilliant sort of exploring new sounds and new things, but it's got to have your own unique selling point to it in a marketing sense, but also your own sort of core values to that, if that makes sense. Your own sort of core values within your art itself. Yeah,
makes absolute sense.
Very true. It brings us quite smoothly onto a question, actually. Learning from failure, an area not comfortable with most in all walks of life, basically. Mm-hmm. So would you agree that most definitely in this area, what is required if you are to retain the fan base achieved to date and to gain new fans? Let's call this like the feel good factor. So what do you feel you need to put in there?
So currently my commitment to that, I mean, that's something that's present in my mind, that thought itself, quite early on, is that I want to keep my fans engaged and I want them to continue to be interested. And one way that I say I want to do that and that I would do that is to make sure I keep uploading content, to make sure I'm constantly engaging the fans, to let them know that I'm putting out my artwork, especially with the music itself. With previous original projects, I've always had a tendency to not release music quick enough, or in some cases not even release it at all. But with this project, I mean, I think currently, so I think they were released within the space of a month or quite close to it. I've got probably in the current folder of all my projects and stuff done. I've got another 4 songs just ready to come out. I'm always sort of writing ahead of what I'm actually releasing, so I don't spend too much time on one thing. Sometimes it's good to do a lot of promotion on just one song, but for me, I just think let's just get a lot of music out there, and then they can listen to a massive amount of your music, and that's the best thing. Pleasing the fans you have before pleasing the fans you are about to have is definitely important.
Sounds good. Absolutely.
Very true. What do you think, Ben?
Amazing, absolutely, and definitely a talent going somewhere. I mean, no, honestly, keep up what you're doing. I think what you're doing is great. You know, you do hear a lot of bands or groups, if you like, or individuals doing this stuff. You know, you can use like platforms, can't you, Tom? Like SoundCloud, for example. Or do you use SoundCloud on the subject?
Not on this current project, no. When I originally started this project, it was quite funny. I was very careful with selecting my socials and what I was going to do. So
yeah.
I've always, very vaguely toyed with the idea of getting a Twitter account.
Uh-huh.
And I decided against it. I've got the Twitter page up there, but I just don't do it. And you've got to do stuff that's relative to what you're doing. SoundCloud I had used previously before for other projects and stuff. And it is, it's a valid platform and great platform to get your music out there. But at the minute, just Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, and the music platforms themselves. That's where I'm a bit more broad. So if you want to search me up on Deezer or any streaming services, I'm on most of them at the minute.
And that's where it's going to get you, isn't it? That's where the viewers are coming in, and yeah, keep up good work. I mean, obviously, do you have a team, like you say, around you though, that's going to help you push this stuff out? I mean, of course, that's what I know record labels are for. But on the instance of not having one, of course, you need to do all the legwork, don't you? And of course, it's okay putting the stuff up on social media, but have you got any advertising you do? I mean, apart from, like you say, social media, is there any other outlets you've got or working on?
At the minute, not really. Like I said, I've been trying to focus, maybe a bit naively as well, trying to focus on putting the music out and, continuously trying to keep the fans happy and whatnot. But no, it's definitely important. I'd say I haven't officially got a lot of like a team around me, but unofficially, like my friends and my other sort of mentors and people that I know within the music industry, we all sort of bounce tracks off each other. So whenever we're trying it or in the process of something and, it needs that extra sort of boost, then that's important. And sort of got to talk to those around you and send them your stuff. But in a sense of marketing, not so much. Advertising wise, I'm just making sure that the next thing I do a big advertising campaign on myself on the social, really got like sort of a music video to it or something that's really eye-catching. I think the advertisements that you've got to put out, if you are going to say let's invest in your own money in that, it's important to give them some good content. You want to grab as much attention from that as possible,
Exactly. You've done it again, Tom. You've actually gone into another question.
I just going to say he did. He did, and I can guarantee Tom did not know about any of these questions before he came on. There you go.
But the following question was: by nurturing your brand, would you agree that to keep the momentum going, that there is an importance in improving with every track? So you've basically answered that pretty well. I mean, you can add to it.
I can definitely go on that question, mate. That's a brilliant one. That's my favourite question so far, actually. There was probably a previous question that I want to draw back from is when I said trying to push the music out there at the minute. Yeah. Trying to get stuff out. And before, like I said, I never really did that with other projects. And what's different about this one is just a whole new approach. I'm just making sure I'm consistent and putting out as much out there. What you said about the tracks being better than each one before, I think that just happens subconsciously, After I put songs out, and like I said at one of the very first questions as well, that listening to your own song too much, you start to notice like a lot more that's going on. So if I actually say, listen to my song like a million times, there's so many little individual tiny details that I want to change. But to do that after the song's released is much better than before the song's released, because that song might not even get released in the end. So it's important to stuff out.
Correct me if I'm wrong here, but what you're saying is that with each track, it's a bit like a flowing story. So you're keeping within that wave. So it's a similar sort of wave, but it with peaks, with different offshoots.
Yeah,
like,
no, definitely. So yeah, and I like the words you use there as well, like sort of like bits where like offshoots where you go off. It's important to have that, but I'll say yeah, like the one running through it, the sort of core values that you have and what your music's about has to run through that, you know. Yeah, like it's in the story almost. Yeah.
That's brilliant. You know, I'm just amazed by what. I don't know how many times have I said that this evening. So
Absolutely.
Ben, would you like to follow along with the comment?
Well, I will say that we talked about Will Smith, didn't we? Now, it's actually William Smith, so thank you, William Smith, because you're a viewer. And, of course, Tom, you know who William Smith is. Now, William Smith, he says, promo videos, mate.
Yes.
Tom, yeah. Have you got any promo videos working on?
Oh, yeah. Oh, right, in reference to that question, we'll go, yeah. So, it's a bit of video editing when I was younger, like sort of like really amateur Windows Movie Maker stuff, then eventually got myself like an actual program, a demo. So
good stuff.
Like, as you do. But yeah, I used to be a bit into it back then, and then I sort of dropped out of it quite early on. Yeah, just doing sort of loads of promo stuff. So what I've done with my Instagram posts at the minute, I've got certain like snippets of the songs that I'm about to release or have released, and most often than not, I will actually go into the track itself, the track file, and just produce an actual different version of the song with not so many of the elements in there, so they don't quite get the full sound. Yeah, and I like doing that occasionally. Like I said, it's content before it comes out. It's about doing that and giving them. There's William actually in particular. I always send him a teaser, and he's just always cracking on at me. When's the song coming out? When's the song coming out? So it has the desired effect.
Good stuff. Well, there you go. Yeah, well, that's answered that. And of course, William says you're welcome. So of course, mentioning Will, thank you very much, Will. You're a star. Wouldn't you say, Tom? Yeah, Grem. Sorry, you were going to say before your co-host rudely interrupted you.
Yeah, there is one final question. Would Ben, would you like to follow on with that question?
Would I like to follow on with that question?
Yeah.
I'd love to.
Yes. I can do it. You can do it.
You can do it, but I have one of my own, so I'm going to add to that question, Grem, if you don't mind. But no, please follow on with the question, the original question that we need to ask this man, because, and then I'll follow on from after that, if you don't mind.
Yep, I'm happy with that. Okay. The final question that we have for this evening is, by capturing of your identity and inspiration to succeed, where would you like to be in, let's say, 3 to 5 years' time?
3 to 5 years' time, I would be, well, Christ, I'll almost be 30 then, but it's almost 30. So, but where would I like to be? Wow. Like I said, I haven't looked too far. 50, but if I can give an honest answer from that, it's not so much where I'd like to be. I'd like to be a lot further with my sound. So the song I've been producing today, been working on since about 11 o'clock, maybe 1 o'clock. Not too sure when I started it, but I just sort of been working on it for ages. And it's just, I want my songs to be 10 times better and 10 times harder than they already are. The bass lines to be so just much more developed and even like more sort of speaker moving as they are already. As for success-wise, I think that's the true success for me, is making sure my music's what I want it to be. So as long as I can keep my mind on the music, I guess everything else can just sort of run alongside it. If it does.
Yeah, fall in place. It will just fall in place.
That's what.
Well, Ollie says, Tom. Ollie says, any plans to use a harmonica in any of your songs?
Oh, maybe. I mean, I'm sure I could tweak it in some sort of manner, in some way. But again, it would have to be in the right key and stuff. So maybe.
Yeah, it's a very talented instrument, that as well, isn't it, to play? Sounds brilliant as well. Harmonica
uses a lot of breath, but people when they first play a harmonica will probably get lightheaded after they use it. It's not just blowing out; you've got to breathe in.
Yeah.
Mad one. Yeah.
Amazing stuff. Connor agrees. Very good question. Connor Cleary says, good question. Not good, not bad. So my question was, and thank you, Grem, for giving way for me. Was
Fine.
What was it now? I'm only joking. No, no. My question was, in the next 2 to 4 years, I'm hoping within the next 2 to 4 years. So it was kind of filtering into my question, actually, what you said, Grem. Are we likely to get to see you live? Now, is the Ben and Grem Show, a bit cheeky now, Grem, I'm going to ask it though. If you don't ask, you don't get, right? Is it possible that we can get a backstage pass? If not, can we know when it is that you're going to go live? Because I'd love to see this stuff.
Yeah, obviously, so the sort of cool thing about this being in lockdown is I don't have to worry about how I'm going to do that for a while.
Yeah.
That makes sense. It's like you said, it belongs to the club. That's where I'd be aiming to perform it.
Yeah.
What I would do as well, all of my songs, literally are written first with a guitar before I put them onto the actual track. And most of the time, the guitar ends up on the track. Sometimes it doesn't. But I can do it all basically like an acoustic stripped back set as well, which I've always sort of wanted to do. When and where that will be, I have no clue right now, but I definitely promise you guys can come along. I'd really appreciate that.
Yeah,
maybe even do a live performance on your show at some point.
Great.
That's a great idea.
That would be
Grem.
great, and we would look very, very much forward to that.
A live show on our stream would be brilliant. Yeah, for the viewers particularly as well. And you've got some fantastic following. Great support you've got here, Tom, I would say, and really impressed.
My fans are the one, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Good stuff. Well, Grem, I think we've done well with
Do
Tom
we have
today.
any more questions from the? Yeah, do we have any more questions from the
viewers? That's a very good point.
To Tom.
We do have some reinforcements of the questions, Grem, that you had. Some reinforcements saying about how good the questions were already up till now. Not as of yet, but of course, big up Trey. Big up Trey.
Yes. Trevor is currently working on a track with me. One of my next releases is going to be a collaboration. So yeah. Trey will be on that. Yeah.
And what did Trey do exactly?
Is that all top secret for now? Then is that all top secret? Can you tell us anything about it?
Oh, sorry.
Can you tell us anything about it, or is it all like hush hush?
Trevor's a musician, and so like I said, I've got a massive load of people that, I say load of people, like my literal family and closest friends. We're all sort of musicians. I never really noticed it so much, but we are actually just all musicians. So Trevor releases his own music. He does sort of like really cool old school R&B vibes with some really nice vocals. One of the best pianists I've ever met, actually.
Good.
Nice. So he does his thing. So I know him quite well. I wrote a song probably maybe just after Feel Alive, just after I finished that, and it wasn't a house song and it wasn't a techno song or anything like that. So I heard it, I listened to it, I was like, okay, well, whose sort of song does this sound like? And I just immediately thought Trevor, I got Trey. So I sent it his way, and it's currently working on that now. It's probably going to be out within the next month, definitely before September. It'll be something different, but different's good. But like I said, I wouldn't release it just by myself in my sort of Nude Wave set. So I'd say it's more of his song accompanied by me.
Yeah, cool. Well, Trey does say he agrees with you. Oh, yes, it is, in the subject of being a big family. Connor says, okay, Tom. Connor says, when is the next single expected, Tom?
Next single, possibly this Friday, possibly next Friday, but definitely one of those I'll be yet to see.
And where will the viewers find it? Can we
Do we have a title?
Yeah, or not yet. No, that's one of the things holding it back. So it's going to be either Euphoric or Bright at the minute. That'll be out on all of your major streaming platforms, out on YouTube, everywhere.
Wow. Impressed. Grem, I'm just overwhelmed, actually. I'm really impressed with this guy. Sorry, Tom.
Did you mention SoundCloud?
SoundCloud, no.
Yeah, I know.
Unfortunately, not on this project, no.
Yeah, you don't use SoundCloud, do you say?
Okay, yeah.
No. But what about, so we use YouTube, don't we? You say use YouTube. You use, there's a couple of other things. Do you use iTunes and things like that? Because you can actually sell records on iTunes, can't you?
Yeah. No, everything's up on Spotify, iTunes. These are all the streaming services, most of them, like I said, yeah. So you could probably find it on Apple Music as well, actually.
And do you have a Facebook page as well, Tom? Just throwing
Yeah,
one in.
currently got a Facebook page. It's the same as all of the other socials. It's at Nude Wave X, all lowercase, no spaces.
Connor says awesome. Couldn't be.
Okay, if you can send those details to us, then we will advertise where we can for you, Tom.
With pleasure.
We'll do that for you.
Absolutely. Absolutely indeed. Well, yeah, Connor says awesome. Absolutely does. He's not wrong. Well, Grem, I've enjoyed myself. How about you? Tom, thank you very much, honestly.
Honestly,
I wanted to suggest something.
Oh, yes, go
Can we possibly listen to the songs again?
There is a new one currently up on YouTube called Glow, if you want to listen to that one. Tell you what, guys, what I'll do as well for my next release, I'll give you guys the single before it actually comes out, so you can play it on your show just prior to the actual release date, if you want as well.
Okay, so what do you want to do? Keep it a bit quiet for the viewers, and then we'll release it in the beginning of the show?
Can do. But like I said, it'll be in the future. We'll sort out the ins and outs then if we can.
Yeah,
but,
absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I'll make sure you guys
no worries.
Comes out, so you guys can be the first to play it.
Love to do that, Tom. That's real great.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Cause, yeah.
What a chap, Grem. What a chap.
It's been a brilliant evening. Brilliant.
So how
Have
do
you
guys?
got anything you want to ask us?
Yes, Tom.
Crikey, I don't know, not really. Well, I'd love to come on the show and do.
Well, that's a relief.
Actually, be one on your side. It looks really cool to do, guys. Actually, like, massive thanks for having me on. Really cool, man.
Anytime.
Yep, that's fine. I mean, we are hoping to gain access to a full studio within the next few weeks.
Awesome.
Possibly, yeah, a proper studio. So we will definitely have you back in at some point. Yeah.
Awesome.
Instead of this zooming lark and the green screens behind.
It's convenient for lockdown, isn't it?
Oh, brilliant! Honestly,
Yeah.
A virtual nightclub on there. We didn't host it. We used to go to it. It's brilliant. Zoom's like really sort of expanded the whole sort of virtual stuff. So I'm looking forward to where it goes in the future.
Do you know what? Virtual nightclub. That would be amazing. Actually, I'd love to be part of that.
Yeah.
Somehow.
I'll send you the link.
Yeah. Absolutely, guys.
Oh, yeah, please do.
Can you do us also an even bigger favour? And it is a bigger favour to ask. But if you can send us a link, can you send it to the Ben and Grem Show Facebook page so actually the viewers can watch it? Because I think they'd love it. Absolutely.
Yeah. Definitely.
And when do you do this? When do you do the live, nightclub thing?
It's not something we do specifically. It's just another company. I'm not too sure if it's even still going there. Like I said, it came out through lockdown. But there's quite a number of them that are about. Definitely be nice to do one. Actually, more to what you're saying, it'd be cool if we did one, actually, especially with my collective as well. So, we'll see how things go.
Absolutely. What a great idea. Graham?
Wow, that's it's a lovely evening. Brilliant speaking with you and seeing you again and hearing from you.
And
we don't see a lot of each other. I mean, we're pretty busy at the moment.
Definitely, man. It'd be good to see you at some point soon.
Absolutely. And I want to say to Grem.
Definitely.
I want to say to you, Grem, thank you for bringing such an amazing piece of talent in. I say piece. You're a human being, of course. You're not just a piece. But yeah, I mean, honestly, no, you're great talent, local talent, and I assume you're local. I wouldn't like to surmise, but no, it's great. And Grem, thank you as my wonderful co-host to bring him in. It's brilliant. Absolutely.
That's what hosts do, mate. That's what hosts do for each other. We support each other, and we get a good result at the end of the day. And this evening has gone very, very well.
It has. And Tom, you're welcome back. He's welcome back anytime, isn't he, Grem? Absolutely.
Awesome. Cheers, guys. No, it's been a pleasure. I'll speak to you all soon. My phone's literally just about to die. So.
No worries. Tom,
okay.
Thank you very much. From me, from Ben.
Okay, thank you, guys. Right, thank you.
From Grem.
Yeah. Take care.
Take care.
Look after yourself. Well, that was just brilliant.
That was fantastic, guys.
What a great interview.
What a great interview. I was really impressed with
I can't get that song out of my head.
No, it was
the
really
song.
catchy. It was
You
really
know,
catchy.
that's,
And do you know what? What we'll do if I mean, Tom did say it was right to do so. I mean, and great that he did. But what we'll do is when we put this out for the viewers, Grem, we will edit it in. So people can have a listen to it in their own time. But
yeah,
what
definitely.
a fantastic guy. Yeah, absolutely. Nice guy. Graham, I'd like to meet him in person. So
Yeah,
when we get the studio,
amazing.
yeah, we'll have to do that.
Definitely. I think he possibly will be maybe our first proper guest in the studio.
Yeah. Well, hopefully as well.
We
Then
can get this done. Yeah.
Yeah, totally, absolutely. Well, this is it, and so this is what it's all about: local talent, isn't it, Graham? And you can't knock local talent. It needs advocating, needs advertising. We sometimes.
It does mean, Ben, that I will have to endure another headache, because it took me extremely a long time, because most people that know me, I'm not a Wordsworth until I put my brain in gear, and it takes me a while to actually compile something. And these questions that I compiled for this evening, I feel quite happy with the response that I've got from them myself, and because I wanted the evening to go smoothly, and I wanted the questions to be inducted in a way that the interviewee would accept more smoothly as well. And it seemed to have achieved its course. So I am really pleased with the outcome of those questions, but they did give me a headache compiling them. It took me a while, and I mean a few days. It took me to compile those. Not just straight off written. Took me a few days. So when we get him back in again, I've got a couple of days to sit down with Ben, and we will work together on some questions.
Absolutely. And Graham, I will say we will do that. It makes sense to do that. I think he responded very well to the questions, Tom, and really interested to see how the next 6 months to 12 months even goes for him. I think he's up for a very good time ahead of him. And just keep knocking out those tunes. I think ultimately it's going to be something special, and we'll be more than grateful to get him back on, and we want to thank every single one of the viewers as well, simply for being here with us tonight and sharing the enjoyment that certainly myself and Graham have experienced. But thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.
It's been great. My phone's dying on me, I'm afraid. I haven't got much power left. It's my teleprompter. It's my phone. It's my teleprompter, people.
Yeah, well, we won't have any more problems later.
Ben's got the same. It's getting there.
Bigger battery these days, though, Graham. You've got to go for a bigger battery nowadays.
Oh yeah, a bigger battery.
Can we tell?
We need, as you said, like a proper.
Can I, Graham? This is completely off topic, guys, and you know me, right, Ben?
No, go ahead. All
right, it's very. I'm glad you give me leeway there, Graham, because I really want to do this.
Yeah.
I really need to do this, Graham, the Gremstar. Can we just do a countdown?
Oh yes.
Thank you.
Oh yes, please. Yes, we've got to do this. This is Ben's favourite part of the show.
Yeah,
everyone. Okay, so what should we count down from, 5 or 3?
3.
5. No, let's do 5. There's a bit of suspense.
Well, there is a story
5.
behind this. Yeah, right. It is going somewhere, Graham, for the viewers.
Cool. Okay. No, 5. 4. 3. 2.5. 2. 1 3/4. 1.5.
Pointless news.
Right, pointless news. That is completely off topic, but we are at the end of the show, and I just thought I'd need to bring this in. Graham, we talked about batteries, right? Now, do you want to start this conversation? I think we might have already discussed this, Graham. All right, and forgive me if we have. But Graham, do you remember a situation around a battery and a motormobile, a vehicle, and heat? Does that all make sense to you?
Oh God.
Did we even discuss this? I don't even know if we did or not.
We discussed it away from the show.
I think we did
a few times. But
do you think the viewers need to know,
well,
guys?
Yeah, I do. I think the viewers do need to know, mate.
Right. Okay. Well, let me just
I
ask.
believe they need to. They need to know the version that is not so lengthy.
Right. Okay. That's difficult when I'm involved. Okay, Graham, that's fine. But we want to make sure that we're absolutely okay with this, right? Because we're going to ask the viewers, for the viewers that are here right now, do you want to hear the story about batteries, cars, and heaters? Batteries, cars, and heaters. Are we sure we've not covered this already, Graham?
No. Yes, we did, but a while ago, probably one of our very, very first shows.
Right.
But jumping to the end of it, the end of the story. No.
Go on.
It only took a little motion of switching something out of the way to correct the issue, wasn't it? So, and all that time, Ben is now going to tell you what he had to contend with, his family had to contend with, and even passengers had to contend with. Yes, batteries. I mean, the size of the batteries. Oh my gosh. Okay, Ben, now take it away.
I think I've done myself a hole here, haven't I? Well, okay, yeah. So, okay, it involves a car battery. In fact, I think there was two involved. And these two car batteries were linked up to a battery car charger, right? Or car battery charger. Depends which way you say it. Same meaning.
You had a converter.
Yeah, that's right. I had a converter, a power converter. Or was it an inverter? It might have been an inverter. Power converter or inverter? I'm not even sure now. I think it was an inverter. And it was 1,000 watt. And so basically that was linked up to the two batteries, which in turn was then linked up to the battery charger that was then being powered by the car, by the cigarette lighter. It was a circuit. Now, where did the battery power go to? Well, actually, it went to the inverter, as I say, but the inverter was then connected to a heater. Now, I'm talking about a household heater. So, so we're talking what, 700 watt heater, and this was in the car. Now, bearing in mind, it was in the winter time. It was really, really cold, a bit icy, and I thought, well, there must be a way I can get around this. I had already taken it to the garage, and I couldn't find out what the problem was. So I thought I'd just try and kind of work one little fix for myself. So I did. So I ran off of the car power through to a car battery in the car, that is, through onto a power inverter to invert the power from 20, is it 24 volts or 21 volts? 12 volts, isn't it? Sorry, so what I'm talking about. It's 12 volts. 12 volts from the car, convert that into 100 and something volts, and then I could power my my heater. Well, let's just say it worked for a little while. But it was just a case, wasn't it, Graham, that I had two batteries in the car and the footwell of the passenger seats. I had the heater in the footwell.
Well, you had to take the batteries out to charge.
Yeah, I did.
You had to take them out to actually give them a charge. It's
a proper charge.
What the neighbours must have thought about you in the morning, bringing out a couple of batteries. Like, right.
Yeah, well, the funniest thing was that the alternator was charging the batteries, but because obviously the journeys of which I was taking was not charging the battery up sufficiently enough, given the fact that it was converting the power from DC to AC, in a sense. But it was still drawing a lot more power out of the batteries, even though it was being used with an inverter. Obviously, I didn't run it off my main car battery. That would have been a bit catastrophic. I would have killed my battery in the car. But so these were running by two separate car batteries that I had happened to be linked up in another area of the house for other reasons. But anyway, so let's just say, that was the moral of the story here. And the moral of the story was that I created my own heat, and it worked, and it really did. I'd be literally driving down the road, and it'd be stuffy as anything. It'd be lovely. But it's not exactly safe. And then, do you know what? To top it all off, I then discovered that there was a little lever that had come off a cog underneath the footwell off the driver's side. And when you turn the lever to get the temperature between hot and cold, the little cog turns, and of course it turns the arm to move it into whatever position it needs to be in. Well, of course, because it had come off the cog, when you were turning the lever for temperature, it wasn't doing anything. So it was just permanently cold. And I thought it had a problem with the thermostat, and of course I had that checked out. No, nothing wrong with the thermostat. Nobody seemed to know the answer of what was wrong with his heater. Now, some people would have just gone out and got another car. No, not me. I thought, no, there's always a way around this. The car itself was fantastic. Why get rid of a car if it works? It was just the heater. And I thought, I can't live with this in this situation, because it was a freezing cold. It was around about the time when we had, do you remember, guys, the Beast from the East? And that's why I took the necessary steps I did, because it was absolutely awful. But yeah, when I discovered that the lever I could manually operate underneath the dashboard as I'm driving down the road, I realised I could fix the problem myself. Yeah, but there you go. There you go. So that's the moral of that story.
It is quite funny.
Yeah, yeah. But just to round it off, Graham. All right, just to round that one off.
Pointless news.
Isn't it? It was. I hope I haven't infected people with that pointless news. But I think I already did.
No, I think people would like to hear it again sometime. So, yeah. Whack it up. Volume 10.
Well,
distort your speakers.
Absolutely. It would indeed. Well, Graham, like always, it's that time again, isn't it? Had a wonderful time. I'm glad we had Tom on. I'm really, really grateful that we had Tom on, and we're going to get him back on again soon, certainly. Thank you, Graham, for getting that arranged. You've been a star, a Grem star. So it's that time, isn't it? From you and from me. From me and from you, from the Grem.
Yeah,
and from the
but
Ben.
thank you, mate. Yeah, but thank you. I thank you. I thank you for the production side of things. Everything that you do, Ben, it's an awful lot. With your busy life, your extremely large family, and give yourself a halo.
You're welcome.
So
we do our best. It's teamwork, yeah. Teamwork.
Yeah, yes, it is teamwork.
And don't think
I wish I could do a little bit more with you, but when we get our studio up and running, we'll be able to share it a bit more better.
Exactly. And don't think you're getting out of this, viewers, because as I say, you're part of the team too. You know, if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't have the Ben&Grem Show, right? So thank you. Thank you very much for your questions this evening.
We need your input.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah. We need your input for us to be able to style future broadcasts. So
we need your input.
Thank you for everyone watching.
You need our output.
Definitely.
Do you need our output?
Yeah, input, output.
Same sort of thing, isn't it? Just one way or the other, isn't it? Well, yeah, you get a drift. But anyway, thanks very much, guys. Thank you, Graham.
Yeah.
And
thank you. Yeah, thank you, Ben.
We'll see you guys again next week.
So, take care from me and from Ben.
Good night.
Good night.
Shh.
Yeah.